In the early 20th century, a storm brewed in Europe. A tangled web of alliances and simmering rivalries threatened to erupt. Across the Atlantic, America watched. The nation was young, vibrant, and focused inward. Its vast potential remained largely untapped. President Woodrow Wilson declared neutrality. He urged Americans to remain impartial. The horrors of a European war seemed distant, yet the Atlantic, once a barrier, was shrinking. The currents of war would soon reach America's shores. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand in Sarajevo ignited the tinderbox. War engulfed Europe. Alliances drew in one nation after another. The world watched in disbelief. America clung to neutrality. However, the sinking of the Lusitania by a German U-boat challenged this stance. The deaths of American citizens on board fueled outrage. Public opinion began to shift. The Lusitania sinking was a turning point. America could no longer remain aloof. The Zimmermann telegram further inflamed tensions. Germany's attempt to entice Mexico into an alliance against the US backfired. Public opinion hardened. President Wilson, a man of peace, grappled with the decision. He saw the war as a threat to democracy itself. In 1917, America declared war on Germany. The war to end all wars had drawn in the reluctant giant. American troops, fresh and eager, bolstered the Allied forces. Their arrival on the battlefields of Europe turned the tide. American industrial might became a crucial factor. The nation mobilized its resources. Factories churned out weapons and supplies. The Great War ended in 1918. Germany and its allies were defeated. The world had paid a terrible price. Millions lay dead. Empires crumbled. America, though scarred, emerged from the conflict a changed nation. The war's end brought a desire for normalcy. Americans, weary of conflict, turned inward. Isolationism took root. The nation retreated from global affairs. The League of Nations, a dream of lasting peace, was rejected. America, disillusioned, focused on rebuilding. The 1920s roared, the economy boomed. Jazz filled the airwaves, a sense of optimism pervaded. The war seemed a distant nightmare, yet beneath the surface tensions simmered. The Treaty of Versailles, meant to ensure peace, sowed the seeds of future conflict. Germany, burdened by reparations and territorial losses, seethed with resentment. America, despite its isolationist stance, couldn't escape the global economic turmoil. The stock market crash of 1929 sent shockwaves across the world. The Great Depression began. Millions were unemployed. Breadlines grew longer. The American dream seemed to crumble. Section 4. The Arsenal of Democracy, Forging a Superpower in the Crucible of War. As the world grappled with economic depression, a new threat emerged. Adolf Hitler and his Nazi party rose to power in Germany. Fueled by nationalism and a thirst for revenge, Hitler rebuilt Germany's military. He defied the Treaty of Versailles. His ambitions extended beyond Germany's borders. Europe stood on the brink of another war. America watched with growing concern. Yet the memory of the Great War lingered. Isolationist sentiment remained strong. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, recognizing the danger, prepared for the inevitable. He called America the arsenal of democracy. He pushed for increased military spending. He provided aid to Great Britain and other allied nations. The Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, shattered America's isolation. The nation, united in outrage, declared war on Japan. Germany and Italy, Japan's allies, declared war on the US. America was fully engaged in a Second World War. Section 5. From Rubble to Dominance. America's Ascent in the Post-War World. World War II was a global conflagration. It raged across Europe, Asia, and the Pacific. Millions perished. Cities were reduced to rubble. Yet, from the ashes of war, a new world order emerged. And America, its industrial might and military prowess unparalleled, stood at its center. The war had transformed America. It had shaken off the vestiges of isolationism. The nation had become a global leader. Its economy boomed as it supplied its allies and rebuilt war-torn nations. Its military bases spanned the globe. Its cultural influence, fueled by Hollywood and jazz, spread far and wide. America, recognizing its newfound responsibility, embraced internationalism. It led the effort to create the United Nations, a forum for diplomacy and cooperation. It provided billions in aid through the Marshall Plan, helping to rebuild Europe and contain the spread of communism. Section 6. Architect of a New Order, America's shaping hand on the world stage. The post-war world was shaped by the rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union. The Cold War, a clash of ideologies, dominated global politics for decades. America, committed to containing communism, forged alliances, intervened in conflicts, and engaged in a nuclear arms race with the Soviet Union. Throughout the Cold War and beyond, America's influence remained profound. Its economic and military power made it the leader of the free world. Its cultural exports, from Hollywood films to blue jeans, shaped global trends. Its universities attracted students from around the world. America's achievements were not without their complexities. Its interventions in foreign conflicts were often controversial. Its economic dominance sparked resentment. Its cultural influence was not always welcomed. Yet America remained a symbol of hope and opportunity for many. The collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991 marked the end of the Cold War. America emerged as the sole superpower. The world looked to it for leadership. The challenges of the 21st century, from terrorism to climate change, demanded global cooperation. America, with its history of innovation and resilience, continued to play a pivotal role on the world stage.